Welcome back to the Coyote Country Homestead. So today we're going to get started on a project that, this is one of those projects on the surface of it. I know what I want it to be and it seems like it should be so simple. I can tell already as we get into this project, it's going to be just a lot more work, a lot of extra little problems to deal with. Let's show you what we're going to be working on today. It's raining today, so this is a good example of what the problem is. You can see right here, this is where all the water from my parking lot comes to just this one point. And somebody had put in a downspout drain, but that keeps getting clogged with debris. And so that means you can see where all the water wants to flow. And before I dug this channel by hand, what all of that water would do is it would back up and it would just form a giant lake over here. So all that water has nowhere else to go besides here. And you can see that the gravel on this parking area is just too high. And so that's where I'm going to have to come in with the truck. That's where I'm going to have to come in with the tractor, and I'm going to have to move that material. And what my goal is to get all of that gravel area lower than what this lowest point, I'm trying to get my finger over this lowest point right here is. And I want to get all of this area lower than that so that rather than all of the water coming through this one 12-inch area, instead it can spread out across this 10, 12 feet of area and flow out there and not create this rivulet, this drainage ditch that we get in here. Because this just gets deeper as we go, and this is just a casual rain right now. This is just a mild rain. When it's pouring rain, this turns into a raging river that all floods down through here, and it's just washed out all of this down through here. And then once it gets down to the bottom of this gravel, well, it's good. This area here, it just dissipates into this much wider drain field down here at the bottom. And that's what I want to create back up here with the tractor, is I want that drain field up here rather than it all being in this channel that is washing all the gravel away right now. What I want this project to be is that I want it to be a gravel driveway project that has a drainage problem that I rework the gravel with the box blade and go back and forth and get it all done. To some degree, I think that's probably what this will be, but you can see right here what we're going to get into. Whoever owned this before me, apparently what must have happened is at some point a person put cement down. I don't know whether this is a single cement pad, but it's really what it's looking like is individual sections of cement that they poured. I don't know whether they're tied together with rebar or what they are, but you can see then somebody came in after that and just dumped a bunch of gravel on it to even it out. And that's a lot of what created my water dam problem, because they've just raised, by adding the cement and then adding the gravel on top of this, right at this point here, they created a water dam. And now where the water needs to flow out here, instead, we've got all this material blocking it. So I have carved out by hand this channel, and then the waters continue to wash it away. But in order to break up this water dam, I'm going to have to start stripping this material out. And what I think I'm going to end up having to do is get the gravel down low enough that I can figure out what's going on with the cement, start breaking up this cement. Fortunately, I think the front end loader is going to help me with that. I want to get all of the cement out of here and then stack the gravel off to a side somewhere. And basically, we're just going to have to rebuild this thing from the ground up. And I don't, just doesn't feel like a one-day project. I feel like this is probably going to be something that's going to take a little bit of time. We're going to see how far we get with this today and how much the tools I have help me and try and come up with a plan for this. But that's what we're working on, so let's go ahead and get started. Before I can get started really moving the gravel around and really figuring out what's underneath here, I got to deal with these piles of Bald Cypress needles that I raked up. So that's the first thing we're going to do, get these loaded into the bucket loader. and then move them over to the brush pile so that we have a clear surface to work with. It's not packing down quite as tight as I'd hoped inside the bucket. I may have to make a few more runs back and forth than I thought, but I'm going to try and get this next pile. Standing here in the washed out area, it looks like the concrete starts right here, and actually right here. And I think all of that in front of it is gravel. So what I think I'm going to do is drop the scarifyers down to their lowest level, use the box blade to start scarifying this, and then start dragging all the gravel to the side, because I want to see what's underneath. And I want to see how deep this concrete is and how difficult it's going to be to get underneath it. My goal is to move the gravel to the side, expose the edge of this, hope that this is mostly broke up chunks that is not all rebarred together, and start breaking it up into the loader bucket and moving it to a pile. We're going to see how that goes, but that's where we're going to start. Talked about this in a previous video. I always try and drop the front end loader and the back implement down just as an additional safety measure in case my brake should release. I got to leave it up here because I'm going to adjust my scarifyers. All right, I've moved quite a bit of material so far. Box blade's working out pretty much exactly like I hoped it would. I want to see if I can use the shovel. I can't get the box blade right next to this and totally clean it off, so I'm gonna have to use the shovel and clean this out a little bit. See if I can get underneath it with the front end loader, start trying to lift this concrete and see what we're dealing with here. This gravel is so packed in. Those scarifiers have been great because it's really dense, really densely packed in. I may even have to get the pickaxe out just to clean up this edge right here, but we'll see if it comes loose. I think what I may do is come in with the front end loader blade, see if I can dig in and scrape some of this out. Let me try that. Yeah, that's much better. Trying to see what kind of edge I'm working with here. And it seems like there's a combination of multiple pads in here at really weird shapes. Like, I'm going to try and clear this one. And if I can get this one up, it'll kind of confirm what I'm talking about. Maybe this one's just really broken up. What's weird is if you look to the left of that pad, it looks like there's gravel there. It doesn't look like there's more pad, which is weird. I can see behind it, it really kind of just looks like this piece is broken up. Hoping I can get the bucket under it and start tearing it apart. But if you look over at this one, it doesn't seem to line up. I don't know, it's weird. When I start getting the gravel clear, I think I'm going to have a better picture of what I'm dealing with here. It's probably one giant pad underneath here that's going to have to be torn out. It's going to be a huge pain, but we'll keep going and see. All right, this is working great. Getting this torn up, getting that cement out, but I'm having a hard time with the bucket managing these pads. I want to get these moved somewhere else out of the way. I think what I'm going to do is switch over to the pallet forks, get underneath, move these one at a time, get them out of the way. I may even see if I can use the pallet forks to start lifting these, but I don't think that's going to be as effective. I think that I'm going to get a lot more power on flipping them over with the bucket and then moving them with the pallet fork. So a little bit inconvenient to switch out, but I think that's going to be the better way. Sorry. I'm trying to enunciate more clearly. It's cold today. It's like 40 degrees and that wind is just really blowing, so my face is numb and cold. I apologize. Well, this is working out so much better than I had hoped with the pallet forks. They're doing a great job tearing those. You can see what I mean. It was poured in like these just sections. That it's great they weren't all rebarred together. They're just coming right out individually. I'm stacking them up in the back. When I'm going to take a break for lunch right now, but when I come back and work on this either later today, tomorrow, the next time I get to it, I'll set a camera up where I'm dropping everything off and show you that over there as well. But we've moved several of these already. I don't know how far over those pads go. Like I can't tell if this is just gravel. I suspect maybe there's another row of pads over here. But we're gonna have to dig into it and find out. And I may need to get the bucket back on it and clear some of this gravel out. But I'm down to earth here. So it wasn't very deep. So I'm basically just going to rebuild this whole thing once I get this cement torn out of here and get the gravel out. So, all right, that's where we are for now. I'm going to call it for right now. Remember to hit like and subscribe if you would. The subscribe won't cost you anything, and I won't send you anything. It just lets you know when I'm going to be making more videos, and that helps me grow my channel. I appreciate it, and we will talk to you. This will be probably the end of part 1 of this. It's getting pretty long already, and I can tell that, like I said, this is a much bigger job than maybe I originally had planned. So tractor's making short work of it. Even still, I can see this is probably going to be maybe 2 or 3 or even 4 parts by the time I get done to rebuilding the driveway here. So we'll call that for now. Thanks for joining us at the Coyote Country Homestead. I sure do appreciate you watching the channel, and we'll talk to you later.